Olivia couldn't find her voice.
This is a story about a beautiful little girl named Olivia and a real-life hero who she calls her voice detective.
She was born at 24 weeks gestation, which is one of the earliest you can be born and live. She was intubated about 16 times total. It was very touch and go for her the whole time.
Olivia spent more than 7 months in the NICU. Because she was intubated so many times, scarring developed between her vocal cords, blocking her airway and preventing doctors from removing the ventilator.
She can't turn her head. I can't just hold her and pick her up when she needs me. I talked to the ENT at that point and said, you know, we've trialed many different times. She's had multiple failures. And I just looked at him right in the eye and said, what would you do if this was your child? He looked at me and said, if it was my child, I would go to this man down in Boston at Mass Eye and Ear, and it's Dr. Hartnick.
Ultimately, Olivia required a tracheotomy, which is placing a hole in her neck and placing a small tube so she could breathe below her vocal cords or where the scar was to allow her to come off the ventilator.
Having the tube out of her throat, I was able to hold her for the first time on my own, to just be able to pick her up without 4 nurses and a respiratory therapist and everything, just be able to hold her for the first time. And that's what having that first procedure with him, having that trach, let me be a mom.
The entire family communicated with Olivia by learning to sign. Enabling her to speak would come after time.
Once she had grown for a period of time that she was strong enough and her ribs were large enough, then we can begin the process of airway reconstruction for her.
Dr. Hartnick began the process by rebuilding the airway using one of Olivia's ribs. Adrienne sought a way to prepare her daughter for the procedures to come, knowing how frightening they can be for a child.
I ended up telling her stories over and over again about how Olivia is going to go on an adventure and she's going on this journey and she's going to go see Dr. Hartnick, the voice detective. I ended up trying to really prepare her right before, and I couldn't find a book, so I wrote a book for her. It's called Olivia Finds Her Voice.
Finally, one day at the beach, that moment came.
She walked up to me and she signed and said, "Mama," for the first time when she was 3. And she was just, to hear her voice and look at how proud she was of herself and her voice, and she was just beaming. I mean, of course, I'm in tears. I don't know how you thank somebody for that. I don't know how you thank somebody for being able to let your child speak.
Olivia is just one example of the life-changing care that Mass Eye and Ear provides every day.
I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see her just having a regular life, just going in with the other kids, walking around, interacting with them, talking to them.
I'm tremendously optimistic about Olivia, that she'll be able to breathe on her own without a trach and be able to speak and do whatever she wants to do.
Dr. Hartnick and his team, Mass Eye and Ear, has given me a chance for my daughter. With his devotion and with Mass Eye and Ear's devotion, he's given my daughter her own story.
Olivia took a deep breath. Out came her voice.
A story with a happy ending.
Say, thank you, Dr. Hartnick.